Greetings everyone and welcome to the ARWare Enterprise Training. In the next few minutes, I will be demonstrating how our product works and provide you with a walkthrough of our management console system. Before I proceed, I'll just go ahead and briefly discuss about what the ARWare Enterprise is. So let's move on first. First up, we have the software architecture. This involves three different components to it. We have the ARWare client, which protects your PC based on the file types you allow. These include over 143 more file type extensions. It comes with its own client download facility for when the user wants to upgrade or downgrade the client version, and can be achieved remotely without having to be present on site. And finally, it comes with a predefined whitelist, which is a list of program names you wish to be exempted from being blocked. This is optional, meaning you can choose not to have it run upon deployment. Then we have the backend server, which handles all the APIs involved. And finally, we have the management console itself. The console enables users to manage all of the client's general settings, the file types blocked, and the client version itself. You also have the option of protecting and unprotecting the client remotely, as well as add blocked programs to the whitelist. The ARWare client supports the following operating systems: Windows XP, Windows 7, Windows 8, and Windows 10. The required application stack for the console and server to run on is Tomcat, MySQL, and RabbitMQ. Upon packaging, the ARWare client comes with a customer license and an already pre-built whitelist. We best recommend installation to be deployed using our pre-built Docker images, inclusive of the ARWare console and server themselves, the database server, and the AMQP broker. So, where do you start? From the initial client registration, it will automatically register at console side. All the client's PC protection pattern, which file types you wish your customer to block, will be inherited as well. If you choose to run the installation with a pre-built whitelist program, that will also be populated at the console. Of course, this is not the only way the user can register their customer. They can also set up the customer through console. And once the installation runs on PC, the client's details will appear at the console under the Devices tab, which I will demonstrate later. Okay, so now that we have completed that brief presentation, let's move on to the actual console. Alright, so here you'll see the login page when you navigate to the console's URL. As you can see here, the username is admin. This is the default user, the first user inserted into the database when you deploy your whole ARWare. So let's just go ahead and click sign in. Once you're logged in successfully, then you'll be directed to the dashboard, which is the main page. But before talking about the dashboard, as you can see, on the left is a navigation panel that includes 9 different links. Because the admin is a default user, they have access to all these pages on the left. Okay, continuing on from the dashboard, this is basically an overview of your customers' activities. As you can see on the left here, we have a chart for protection of devices. This is all of the customer's devices which are in unprotected mode, meaning our client is currently not blocking any files to run. And on the right, you have a chart for events detected. When I use the term events, it basically means any blocked activities that the client detected. The console receives these notifications and logs them as events. Now, moving on to the customers page. Right here, you can see we've registered about 4 different customers, and you can see from this page all the details to the particular customer. You can know which version they are using, the total users who have access to this customer, the total events, and so on. Let's just go ahead and select a customer. So there are 5 different tabs when you're viewing a customer. The first one is the settings tab. Basically here you'll be able to see the details of that particular customer, including the ARWare client version, the health check interval, which is the waiting period of when the client sends an update to the console and vice versa. And this customer has a health check interval of 1 minute. We can also see the protection pattern of that customer. Right now they have applications checked, meaning a .exe file will be blocked. Now moving on to the devices tab. As you can see, we've registered a PC for this customer. You'll be able to see the details of the device, including the IP, the operating system, the version they're currently using, and their last seen. Mentioned before, you can register a PC through the console, so I will now demonstrate that. I have a remote desktop connection up here, and basically before I install my ARWare client, I'm just going to run a program file just to show you a before and after behavior when the client protects the PC. So I have an installation file here. Let's just double click on that. As you can see, the program successfully installed and can be run. So I'm just going to uninstall that same exact program. And try to execute it again after our client has been registered. So now let's go ahead and install our ARWare client. We have everything prepared here, so now let's just run the installer. And there on our left, you can see the PC has been registered on the console. And you can also see the icon here. Right here on top of the notification, we have one new notification. This is that PC. It's trying to run this exact installer. Okay, now let's try and run the same installer that we did just now and see what happens. Okay, now it's being blocked, meaning our PC is protected and this .exe will not be able to run anymore. And it also shows up in the notification saying, oh, this specific program was trying to be created and it's currently blocked. Okay. Besides that, on the console, we can also change the status of our device. Right now, our clients are in protected mode, so let's select the same exact one and set the status to unprotect. Let's observe the change in the client's UI when the status has been changed from protect to unprotect. Since this customer's health check interval is a minute, we'll have to wait that long for the client's UI to update. And when it is in unprotected mode, it should turn white. And there it is. It is now unprotected. This PC, meaning if we run the same exact program installer just now right here, it would be able to run. And you'll still be able to install. You can also change the device status to disable. And I've already have a device disabled right here on the trash tab. When you disable a device, it will be moved here. What it means by disabled is whenever the user changes the customer's settings, be it health check interval, protection pattern, or even client version, this specific device will not receive any of the changes until you enable the device again. And once you do that, the protection mode will be, the status will be protected, and it will update the client's PC. Now moving on to the whitelist tab. Here we have two whitelisted program names. This was inherited from a pre-built whitelist. Here you can choose to remove any of the existing programs, and once removed, every time a PC tries to run that program, it will be blocked and a notification will be appearing right here on the top right corner. And finally, we have the alert management tab. This is where the user can wish to get notifications on unauthorized activities, meaning any blocked programs that a PC tries to run, or when a client's status has been changed to unprotected, then you can set the recipients to the notification and they will be sent out as email. Now moving on to events. This is where you'll see all the blocked activities that were triggered by any device. The user can see the date event was detected, the customer name, the file type category, the device IP that triggered that event, program name, and so on. Over here, the user can add blocked programs to the whitelist. So for example, this particular program, once you select it and you add it to whitelist, once this message appears, the next time the user tries to run that program, it will no longer be logged into this table. You can also delete the entire table here, purging event, and archive it in case you want a backup of this entire table. And let's just do so. And right here, you'll be able to see that event that we archived. And you'll be able to download it as well if you wish not to go inside. And when you click on it, you'll be able to view the table rows and the archive itself. Now moving on to the reports. Right here at the reports, you will be able to generate a report based on different report categories offered. These are the default reports that are created once the console is set up. So let's just go into one. Here you can see we have a report of the total events detected for today, 31st of July. And you can see here the customer and the time at which the event was triggered. When you scroll down, you'll see more detail on it. When you click on the Edit Report button, you'll see the report details and the category selected, as well as the interval. There are 12 report categories. Just like the customer, you can also send out the report if maybe your management wishes to get a monthly report of this data. And then we'll move on to the applications. At the applications page, you can see the different client version already uploaded to the console. The details of the URL and hash column will be provided to you by our company representative, and once user receives this information, they can then add the client version. And once it's added, it'll be ready for downgrading, or upgrading the client. A big emphasis of the feature is how we are able to remotely upgrade or downgrade client version. Moving on to the user management. This page allows users to handle other users' page privileges. Here you'll be able to see the user's status. Right here we have Patin, she's offline, and Kanye is a new user, has not even logged in. And Rick has been locked out of his account, maybe because he tried so many times to he tried logging in with a wrong password. Let's just go into one of our users. Here you can see the user information and the role settings. This is a page privilege the user can have access to. So for example, if I removed Imani's settings and audit log privileges, they will no longer be able to access these pages once they log in, meaning it will not appear on the left side navigation panel here. And now moving on to the customer access tab, you can see this user's customer access, and she does not receive any notifications when it comes to customer Aeon, Baskin-Robbins, and eLog. If you wish to allow them to have access to this customer, then just double click on a customer name and their managing status will be changed. Now moving on to the settings page. Right here, the users can set a customized reset password email, the SMTP settings, as well as the password settings. Since this page is pretty self-explanatory, I won't go much into detail, and we'll move on to the next page. The audit log is just an overview of all the actions that are being logged on the console and the server. First, we have the console log. You can see the columns include the details of that action, including the username, the action that was being done, and further details. So previously I allowed Imani to have access to Baskin-Robbins, so you can see the customer name here and the username here, along with the IP of the admin. And then we have the server log, which is basically detecting all actions sent by the client to the backend server. So right here you can see JP Morgan, the IP, the client's IP sent an update device. So we successfully downloaded the client settings when we made the changes at the settings tab just now. Just like the events page, you can also delete the table or archive either logs to serve as backup. And finally, we have the profile settings page. This is a default page visible to all users, even if that user does not have access to the other pages. Here, users can change their full name, their email, and update their password. They can also choose to upload an image. So let's just go ahead and do that. now this user has their own avatar. So with this very handsome picture of George Clooney, the ARWare training concludes, and thank you very much for your time